let's get into Time's Best 100 podcast lists, which apparently everybody hated. And I love this for a couple of reasons. One of them is lists are just garbage to begin with. Anytime there's a list about anything of this magnitude, top 10, top 50, top 100, like it's all bad, okay? Any list off the top of that head, like I don't care who it is, what outlet, whatever. All of these lists are subjective. What are you looking to get out of your podcast? What are your life experiences? What are the shows that have been relevant for you to listen to? Because you don't have time to listen to everything. You're not going to listen to any music list. You're not going to listen to every album that's ever existed in every genre. You don't care. So if you're going to do the 100 greatest albums of all time, how many country albums have you listened to? How many hip-hop albums have you listened to? Do you know what drill rap is? I kind of do. I'm not talking about it, but like I can't put it on a list. I have no idea. So that's the point, as Taylor's laughing at me. So like when you look at a list, you always have to take these things with a grain of salt and know that these are for engagement, okay? That's what this is all about. How do we put this out so it gives people reasons to complain? These lists are never put out and everybody's like, let me share this list. Great job. They nailed it. We should all talk about how good this list is. It's not what it is. It's always, well, my show that I love, that I spend more time with, that's more relevant to me and my life is ranked too low. Or it got, snubbed from the show or from the list. Like, this isn't fair. And so why didn't you include the show that I like? Well, that person never heard that show, was never in a place in their life where that show was relevant to them, don't work in that industry, they don't find it interesting. So yeah, stuff is getting left off of lists all the time. And the idea of just best is like stupid and arbitrary. What does best mean? When you're talking about valuing any podcast in any genre that's ever existed, like what the hell is best? Tell me the rules of best. So I think all of that is completely silly anyway. So lists are dumb. And the other side of it is they didn't even do it properly for engagement, which is you do rank them by number. Because a lot of times you're getting the controversy of saying, well, this show was ranked ahead of this show, and you shouldn't do that. This show is better, and here's why it's better. And let me give you this long comment, which is exactly why they put this list together. That's why the numbers are there. This list is literally just, here's 100 shows that we think are the best. See you later, in no particular order. So, yeah, everybody hates the list. I hate lists in general, so this list is dumb. But I will say that there's some value to get from it, right? Because one of the things about doing this and talking about what we just covered throughout this entire episode so far, how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself? What makes you interesting? And how do you build an audience that makes you clearly better as a show than your competition? So what that comes down to is, on some level, getting the inspiration to guide that. And that's what some of the shows on this list can do. Even the ones that, because there's big shows that aren't mentioned, so sure. And I'll just list those to do it. Like Joe Rogan is not on that list, although he's a bad example for what most people are doing, so I never talk about him as a good example. Diary of the CEO is off this list. Alex Hormozi is off this list. So, like, those are things that are popular shows and you can go listen to and get some inspiration from. But some other shows that are on the list, I want to talk about these in depth just for like a minute or two. So one, Pablo Torre Finds Out. I love this show. I mentioned it in a newsletter recently. Taylor turned me on to this show, so credit to him. But truly unique, fun, personable, selfish in terms of what the subject matter is. This guy, Pablo Torre, figures out, here's a thing in sports, pop culture that I think is specifically interesting. It's not necessarily the big story. It's something that maybe got swept under the rug or never got a proper attention, or it happened a long time ago, so it wasn't culturally viewed the same way then. And he just deep dives into those stories. And as a reporter, he takes you on his sort of journalistic pursuit. So you're getting storytelling, like linear storytelling and reporting at the same time. So it just paints a beautiful picture. It's a very fun listen. Scroll through it, find an episode that you think is interesting, especially if you're a sports fan. Go check that out, but there's a lot to take from it. Another show that's really great, I've talked about Conan O'Brien before. That is my guy. I love Conan to death. If you listen to some of the episodes for his show, part of it is he's funny even at the boring parts. I mean, when you're talking about ad reads for shows. He's nothing but personality. He's cracking jokes. He's doing riffs. Like, he's having a good time, and he makes talking about a product and advertisement an inherently boring thing that people skip. He's making it listenable. And that's a really hard thing to do. So that's a cool bit of inspiration. And then note how the way he interviews people, how diverse he is in his approach to all of these different guests, depending on who they are, what their mood is, the kind of relationship they have, and where he wants to take it. He's a top of the line interviewer. He did it nightly for like 35 years as a late night show host. So very well experienced there. Great example. Hardcore History is on that list. Great show because it is one man that is heavily researched talking by himself for 4 hours at a time. They are literally 4-hour episodes, so I do not recommend that for you. But he's so good at presenting all of this information, telling a story, and keeping it interesting enough, because you don't have that dynamic of the back and forth voices and conversation where he'll change his tone when he's quoting something. And it tends to be like this great growly thing where he'll be like, and when we were in the battle in 1932, and as he's like quoting a general in a war. It's really wild stuff, but it's just a great thing to see how tone comes across in an episode. So that's on the list, and definitely something I recommend. And then another one, Plain English with Derek Thompson. So this is a show where it's a lot of current events is the kinds of things that he'll cover. It can be political at times, but it's more research and curiosity with experts. So he's bringing on all these people that he's actively seeking out to discuss a certain issue that's a hot button. Let me get somebody who's well educated on the subject matter and have like a deep, thoughtful conversation about it. And so, it's just a nice approach to, and it's something to think about in terms of relationship building, right? Who are these people that can provide great value? How do you go out and get them and build relationships with them to bring them onto your show to inform your audience and potentially grow your business? Like, that's a great place to be. But if you're finding people that aren't on every other show, you've got something original, you've got something unique, and there's something valuable in that.